Hey y'all, Simply It's Logical here, and welcome back to the channel. But either way, thank you all for joining me for today's video where we are going to be going over the August Dev Diary. But before we get into that, I do want to say really quickly that I am sorry for skipping last week's video. Life got crazy and I got sidetracked and just forgot to get anything recorded. But we're back this week, so let's go ahead and get into the video. Okay, so before we get into this dev diary, I do want to note that I have not yet played this release at all, which we're talking about update 15 when it first starts. And I also have not yet read the full dev diary. So you'll be getting my first reactions of this as well. But going back to update 15 release, I am hoping to play it a little bit this week. I'm starting to kind of get back into the feeling of I think I want to build something. So I'm not going to promise anything, but I will just have to see if I decide to build. I'm trying to be very gentle with myself as a content creator of I'm not currently in the most creative of mindset right now, and it's hard for me to build things in Planet Zoo or Prehistoric Kingdom right now. So I'm trying to allow myself to play what I want to play when I want to play it. So I'm going to try and maybe get a video out for next week on update 15, but I'm not going to promise anything. Okay, now that we have all that, let's go ahead and get into the diary. So it starts off by saying, "Welcome to the August Development Diary. In case you somehow missed it, update 15 released just under a week ago," which I think it released, I want to say like Wednesday or Tuesday or Wednesday of last week. This monumental update added new behaviors for breeding and courtship alongside many new standout features like paleobotany, foliage browsing, and new enrichment feeders. And also, we went over all of that in the last Dev Diary, so if you want to check that out, you're more than welcome to. I'll put a link either in the description or in the top. Sometimes the top links don't work, and I don't know why, but I do try to put them in there if I remember. Anyways, moving on, it says, "We highly recommend you give the patch notes a read if you haven't already, as they're formatted like a mini blog post. There's lots of great stuff to check out." And I have not read the patch notes. If you want, I will try to leave the patch notes link down in the description so you can go check those out if you would like to, but I'm not going to read them. And there is a little overview of the Oviraptor video that we're going to watch really quickly. And once we get done with that, we will move on to the next paragraph.
"I admit I have a real soft spot for Oviraptor. They're clever and charismatic, but so misunderstood. Maiasaura gets all the credit for being a good mother dinosaur, but Oviraptor are really quite gentle and attentive parents too, despite their bad reputation."
And moving on from that little video, I quite enjoyed that video. I think it was very good. I love the Oviraptors hatching. That was really cute. But I also love the colorings because, again, I haven't seen them in game at all. So they look very cute, and I definitely want to build for them at some point. But moving on, it says, "This is also a great time to point out that Prehistoric Kingdom is currently 30% off until September 1st. Be sure to grab it while you can, as the sale will end very soon." And seeing this now, I am sorry I did not realize that this was a thing, because when they released the Dev Diary, I saw it and I was like, I'll do it later. And so it is past September 1st, so that sale is no longer available, and I am sorry for that. But moving on, it says, "All right. Due to this update being so recent, the team is currently taking a little break, so please forgive us for this Dev Diary being short. We just wanted to quickly touch base before going back to work and refresh the community on our plans for the future. And then from there, it moves on to the state of development. Having now launched Update 15, the team is very happy with its reception and feedback from the community. At its peak, we almost broke 1,000 concurrent players on Steam, which is the highest number we've had since launching into early access. While there's always work to be done and pesky bugs to resolve, finally having both breeding and seamless growth in the game has been a real full circle moment for us. We truly mean it when we say thank you for supporting Prehistoric Kingdom. We could not have made it this far without you. And then the photo that you're seeing, it on the dev diary underneath it, it says comparison by Discord user Assassin Spino with an exclamation mark. So this is a pretty cool comparison between early game and now. But moving on, it says an additional patch. So, what's next? Very soon, some team members will be jumping onto Update 1.15.1. This extra release will add the remaining features from Update 15 that were not ready to ship, as well as addressing some reported issues such as pregnancies randomly disappearing. Here's our original quote from the patch notes. Although this is not how we plan to ship Update 15, unfortunate circumstances over the last few weeks have meant that we have elected to prioritize the well-being of our team members and focus on the core breeding mechanics. These features will be arriving in a second update coming in September, and that includes the animal head IK, the interspecies threat displays, and feeling and fleeing. However, this can occur during courtship right now. And then it goes on to say, we apologize and hope you can respect our decision on this. The team currently expects Update 15.1 to arrive before the end of September, which is only like 3 weeks away. So if you're waiting to play Prehistoric Kingdom until you get all of that, then you only have a couple weeks. Okay, moving on, it says the road ahead, Update 16. After working on 2 major animal release related updates back to back, it's safe to say our team is feeling ready to move on to something that doesn't relate to growth or breeding. While 15.1 gets worked on, the rest of the team will be entering pre-production for update 16. This will be another huge and frankly transformative update, this time focused on expanding the gameplay and park management experience. While we aren't yet ready to divulge the exact details of everything coming, you'll start to see more images and info over the next few months. For now, here's a taste of what we're looking at. The first section talks about the vivariums, and in this photo you can see it has 3 different types: the amphibious, the arboreal, and the terrestrial, with the three different icons. Vivariums are placeable habitat modules used to house small or specialized animals like what you'd find at a real zoo. They will allow players to effectively build customizable reptile houses or aviaries. We consider an animal to be a vivarium species if their size or movement style does not mesh well with the dynamic nature of regular animals. Without vivariums, we would not consider including animals like the Microraptor, Archaeopteryx, and the Yi in the game, which is just YI, which is the small dino that you're seeing on the screen. To keep their dev cost low, these species do not have ontogeny, multiple skin designs, or a true AI brain. They are an expansion of the mini aviary idea currently in the game, adding new options for a terrestrial and amphibious tank alongside the used arboreal housing for climbers and gliders. They'll play animations at preset points around the habitat and sometimes even traverse it depending on where they spawn each time you look at the vivarium. A key part of the vivarium upgrade is to overhaul the animation system and make it much easier for us to set up new species. This is actually why no new animals have been added to the current mini aviary since beta. It's old, rigid, and not as nice to use as our updated pipeline. That makes me excited. That makes me think that they have a lot of big plans coming for vivariums and stuff like that that I hope I'm really going to like. In terms of management, players will need to make sure staff can access the back of a vivarium in order to feed, clean, and treat the animals for diseases. I like that because that makes it more realistic and more lifelike. We've included some pictures below to show what we'd like players to be able to build when they combine our modular building pieces with the vivarium modules. And these images are from two different places, which are quoted at the bottom of the image itself. And the way that they're wanting to implement vivariums reminds me of Planet Zoo, which that makes me excited and nervous because with Planet Zoo, if you don't know, the terrariums that we have are, or the exhibit boxes are blocks, and they're big and they're bulky and they're ugly, and I hate to build with them. But with Prehistoric Kingdom, I'm expecting, because they have so far, they have completely ran away with Prehistoric Kingdom's idea of a simulation animal or dino zoo building game. And I'm expecting that Prehistoric Kingdom will make the vivariums multiple different sizes and potentially have the ability to make them null, which means like invisible, basically, meshed or whatever sort of texture we want them to be. And I have very high hopes for these vivariums, and I really think I'm going to like them once they're implemented into the game, how Prehistoric Kingdom expects for them to be. I just hope they reach my standards of what I'm expecting from them, seeing as we have been getting such good updates in the past with the ontogeny of the growth and the breeding and not the raising of the offspring and all that other stuff that they've just added. I have very high hopes with this. But moving on to vets, diseases, and death. Vets will monitor habitats, tend to nests, and alert the player to any disease that they find along the way. Depending on the severity, animals can be treated in the field directly. If it's a serious or contagious issue, players should move their animals into the upcoming Quarantine Bay module. I'm excited to have that because that's something that we already have in Planet Zoo. And although I don't really play with like the backstage portions of Prehistoric Kingdom at all, because they're so big and bulky and they're not like boxes, which I prefer, Planet Zoo's boxy styled backstage stuff rather than Prehistoric Kingdoms. But we'll just have to see what it looks like. This module must be stocked with a new medicine resource that vets use to cure and restore your animals. There will be a range of quarantine-based sizes available, with the largest version supporting sauropods. With all that said, however, in the worst case scenario, it'll still be possible for animals to die if they become too sick or old. And again, I love how they continue to keep with the realistic aspect of zoo care and stuff like that. And although I'm excited for the quarantine and the death and stuff like that, I play in sandbox mode, so that doesn't necessarily apply to me, but I do plan on playing a full play, like not like a full playthrough, but playing franchise mode in Prehistoric Kingdom at some point. So it'll be good for a franchise, that's for sure. Moving on to flat rides. Flat rides are a new type of attraction that can provide guests with entertainment or a better look at your animals. As mentioned in the January Dev Diary, I'll try and leave that linked right around here as well. Flat rides include things like a Ferris wheel, theater, or a tethered balloon ride that goes straight up to provide a vantage point. We would love to eventually include track to our or tour rides, but obviously those have a significantly higher development cost. We'll have to see how things go. So this seems like they are wanting to add, if you play Planet Zoo, which most of y'all probably do, Planet Zoo has the train, the Jeep ride, the boat ride, and the monorail. And I think that's it. And all of those are track rides, but they don't have like Ferris wheels or like merry-go-rounds, which are very common in a lot of zoos. So that it'll be nice to have more common, like flat kid rides that are in zoos and in parks that Planet Zoo doesn't have. Moving on to staff progression 2.0. To make things more cohesive, staff training and salary management will be merged into a unified system, letting players individually train staff. As the skill level of a staff member goes up, so does their salary. If they become too expensive, the player may have to demote them and lose access to their skills until promoting them again. And this is a very similar to Planet Zoo because you can train your staff up. However, in Planet Zoo, you can't demote people. You can only train them, and you have to make sure that you have the money to train them when you train them. You can't say, "Oh, let's see if I have the money, and then if I don't, I can take them like back down." The like a whole level, you can only take them down in the separate financial management panel that the staff themselves have, but they're each time they level up, their base pay levels up too. So if they're like a 5-star vet, you can't take them down to a 1-star vet base salary. Their salary would be a 5-star base salary for the vet. And the way that this is saying is that you can have a 5-star vet and take them down to a 4-star vet salary if you need to. It then goes on to say, we have a few other ideas cooking on how to improve the staff experience, but we'd like to wait a bit longer before announcing any specifics. And that excites me. Again, I don't play franchise, but if you are a franchise player for Prehistoric Kingdom, I'm sure this is very helpful for y'all. I would imagine probably in the September 25 dev update or dev diary, we will get more on this stuff. Moving on, it says, since all of the remaining updates until full release are equally large, we estimate the minimum development window between releases to be around 3 to 4 months, basically what you're already used to. As always, you can check out our roadmap to see what's on the way, and we'll keep you in the loop if things change. And again, I'll try and leave that link down below as well, the roadmap, I mean. Moving on to update 16, new vivarium species. And this is kind of what I'm most excited about in this whole dev diary, to be honest. There's something chirping in the bushes, and it's not a bird. This must be the tiny Jurassic theropod. I believe it's pronounced Compsognathus or a compy for short. Our little finger biter here will be one of the smallest animals in Prehistoric Kingdom, ending up a little shorter than a baby velociraptor. And this does look like it is going to be a vivarium animal. It looks like it's going to be the terrestrial vivarium. At the bottom of the image is what it looks like. Moving on, it says compies and similarly sized land critters will be housed in the terrestrial vivarium. Yeah, I just guessed that. Making it easy to keep track of them. We can't wait. Excuse me. We can't wait to show more pictures once we've started properly developing their habitats. They're going to be so much fun. And I bet they are. They are crazy little dinos, and I'm excited to see what they look like in game. And that's all for the moment. We'll see you again next month for September's diary as we move deeper into working on update 16. In the meantime, there's quite a lot to play with in update 15. So we hope you enjoy everything we just added. So again, this was a very short dev diary, probably one of the shortest ones we've had so far. And I'm very excited for. I would have to say probably the Compy and the Vivariums is what I'm most excited about in this so far. But again, I'm gonna try and see if I decide I want to play Prehistoric Kingdom this week. Again, I'm in a state where I want to play games, but I don't want to have to think when I play games. I just kind of want to be able to turn my brain off and just do things, which is what Paleo Pines allows me to do. And I'm having so much fun with that playthrough. So we're just gonna kind of see. I will get back into Planet Zoo at some point. However, my computer is still crashing every time I open it up. So I can play for like 10-15 minutes and it crashes. And I thought I had it fixed, but I guess I only had like a temporary fix or like a band-aid fix. And it's now crashing again. So I'm Planet Zoo currently is on pause, and I hate to say that because I love that game so much. But Planet Zoo content is currently paused until I can figure out how to make it stop crashing. But anyways, I hope y'all enjoyed this video. I know we kind of ended on like a sad note, I guess you could say, but I'm really excited for the Compy and the Vivariums. Let me know down in the comments what you're most excited for in update 16 or what you were most excited for in update 15. But anyways, I will see y'all next week. Bye guys.